Okie dokie, artichoke. So, happy St. Patrick's Day. Gonna wait till we got some family rolling in here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. If not, let me know because I am just like outside. And I don't know if you can hear me with these headphones on. So, I think this is IG Live number 7 IG Lives in a row, 6 weeks. I'm really liking this little routine we got going on. Just when you're rolling in, just say Happy St. Patty's Day. Tell me where you're from, like the city you're from, or if you're from like a different country other than the U.S. Let me know. And I'm gonna assume that if you can't hear me, then I'm gonna have to take these out. Okay, cool. We got Happy St. Patty's Day. We got some green on. This is green, sort of. You know, it's more like. I guess it's like green. We're sitting at a green table. We got some green pants. This is St. Patty's Day colors. And yeah, let me know where you're from. Hopefully this stays up. South Africa, let's freaking go. NYC. Okay. Love that. Happy St. Patty's Day. Again, we got Florida, South Louisiana. Okay. Love that. Bentonville, Arkansas. Canada, let's go. Let's freaking go. So, Nashville, Virginia. I like to just do this just to kick it off a little bit. So, we got Florida here. Pittsburgh. Shout out Pittsburgh. Chicago. Pitt got a little Poland. We got some Polish in here all around the globe. So, yeah, Philippines, Virginia. Yeah, I am loving it. Georgia. Perfect. Michigan. So yeah, we just wrapped up watching Pitt Bebo get almost a 20-point win, and Lisbon, West Virginia, Dallas. So I'm coming off a little bit of a high right now. Pitt got two big dubs in March Madness so far. So from San Diego, moved to Sacramento, Philly, Paris, Mexico, New Jersey. I could do this forever. Let's go. Scottsdale. Okay. Fun place. So yeah, fam. Again, this is a tradition. We're making this a tradition every single Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, wherever else you are in the world. We are going to be doing this every single Friday. Algeria, let's go. So yeah, Minnesota. We're like covering the map here. So love that. So I picked out 17 questions that we're going to rock through today. Again, happy St. Patty's Day. We got a green on. I got a fresh cut. Pitt B-Ball got 2 big dubs. So from March Madness. So we are feeling super good. And I hope you're having a great day so far. I hope you're having the best Friday of your entire life. And Indiana, Pennsylvania. I know exactly where that's at. And yeah, we can get right into these questions a little bit. Just seeing where you guys are from. Always like seeing where you guys are tuning in from. And yeah, I just hope you're having a great Friday, like I was saying. And I have 17 questions picked out. I will give you the highlights. I made a little highlights. I was up until this point, I have not been to be completely transparent. I haven't really been prepping or anything like that before these lives. I'm just kind of rocking through them as I just do these lives, you know. But I figure, you know what? We're going to prep for this one. We're going to take 30 minutes and prep for this live. So it could be, efficient, effective, and hopefully I can help you guys get better. Hopefully, entertain you if that's what you're tuning in for. If you just want to hang out with me on your Friday. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys as always. And yeah, we're rocking our hair this way instead of this way now. So we are trying up a little bit of a new hairstyle. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, highlights for today. We have 6 main highlights that I rock through that I came up with basically of these questions. So the highlights from this one, last one's topic from last week was more fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, whatever kind of topic. That was it's pretty much what they've all been. But this one specifically, it's sort of the same thing. But the main highlights from the questions are going to be these 6. So we have habits. Talk about habits. We're going to talk about alcohol. We're going to talk about libido. We're going to talk about confidence. glutes and pickup lines is going to be towards the end of it. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a framework as far as how this is going to develop. If you want to stick with me through the whole time, if you want to catch it on the replay, comments if you're catching on the replay. This is going to be after I post it, so obviously don't need to worry about that. So yeah, again, let's keep making this the best Friday of your entire life, and hopefully I can help you guys get better, or you can just entertain, like I mentioned. So let's get into it. Yeah. All right. So question number 1, after a little 5-minute script, is going to be, I'll also just respond to any of your comments as you're kind of speaking, if I feel like it's cool so too. So feel free to drop any kind of questions you have in here too. And hopefully it's not too loud around me too, so you guys can hear me. So, all right, first question we got here is, what are the habits that you follow that I follow every day? And yeah, that's that one. So basically the habits, I got pretty big into this. I've always been pretty big as far as I would say I'm a pretty habitual and consistent person. I think that kind of stems from just doing my workouts and stuff like that ever since I was younger, right? But I got really into this, I would say last year, all of last year in 2022, really just after doing 75 hard, completing Live Hard last year. It just really got me into this habitual daily routine kind of thing, where as long as I finished all these, call them tasks, if you will, critical tasks, and as long as I finished these tasks for the day, I thought that was a dub for the day. I won that day, and then I could go enjoy myself for the rest of the day, right? So that's how I kind of view my day-to-days now. So and the specific habits that I follow, I would say I'm a very structured, regimented person. So the things that I try and get through every single day are essentially I try and get through, I've been playing around with this a little bit, but typically I'll wake up at 5 a.m. I'll go to bed at 9 p.m. the night before, wake up at 5 a.m., get 8 hours of sleep, go to the gym, work out I try and get all this done by 11 a.m. and start my work day at 11 a.m. So really what I try and do is I really like to just get my workouts done, knocked out right first thing in the morning. So I'll do my workouts first thing in the morning, whatever that may be, if it's push pull legs, chest and back, arms and delts, or another leg day or something like that, or just if I'm doing cardio on the weekend or something like that. And then immediately after that, I'll just do a 45-minute walk on the treadmill. So I try and just shoot for 10K steps every single day. And basically I'm pretty sedentary throughout my entire day, aside from my mornings, right? I'm just sitting at my desk doing computer work basically. So essentially off of that, in order to get my 10K steps for the day, really just what I've noticed that helps me hit that threshold is doing just a 45-minute walk, 3.5 miles an hour pace, on the treadmill, right after I get done with my lift. So basically my workouts in the mornings, happy birthday, Liv. pretty much my workouts in the mornings last me 2 hours, 2 hours 15, basically. So yeah, and then right after that, I'll stretch and foam roll, I'll journal, and then I'll read my book for 10 pages. Sometimes I'll read my book on the treadmill, but yeah, it's basically my mornings, it's basically my habits, and then I have my work tasks that I try and get through. So basically it's responding to any client messages, doing any new client plans, doing check-ins. If it's closer to the weekend, Thursday through Sundays are typically when I do check-ins, my weekly check-ins for my clients. And then if I have any new client sales calls that I have to tend to, then I'll like manage that too. So yeah, then pretty much after that, that's when I go into my creative mode and do my like social media stuff. So pretty much like I try and get an IG reel and a TikTok up every single day and YouTube short. So pretty much afternoons are booked for just getting those up. Mornings, like super early in the mornings, first thing are like workouts, recovery, like health wise, like just getting my water in the mornings. And then sort of like early afternoon is like work related, and then like later afternoon is like social media created, or catered, if you will. Like that's kind of how my day looks most days, like literally every single day, Monday through Sunday. So those are my habits that I follow like every single day pretty much. So yeah, and Sundays we go to church, we go to mass, as you know, if we can. So Yeah. You're looking like Johnny Bravo. I will take that. That's a nice compliment. I appreciate that. There's South Carolina tuning in. Yeah, feel free to drop your comments like I mentioned, like throughout, and I'll respond to them if you want to. So, all right, next question. Knocked off habits off that highlight. Next question. So these highlights are going to be like the first like 6 questions that I address. Shirt is from State and Liberty, and I think it's like olive colored or something like that. So big fan of them. Big fan of them. So yeah. All right. Question number 2 is, this is going to be alcohol related. How do you keep motivation? How do you keep motivation with diet, while avoiding temptation from snacking and alcohol? So how do you keep motivation with diet, staying on your macros, staying on whatever dietary plan that you're doing, while at the same time avoiding temptation from like snacking or alcohol? So I guess I'll answer the alcohol point of it first. So I personally don't drink at all. I never was a big drinker. Like I never really drank a whole lot, ever, like growing up really. Like one of the things in 75 Hard or Live Hard last year was you couldn't drink any alcohol basically, or have any cheat meals basically, like for doing 75 Hard. So that was never like really big thing for me, like drinking wise, like alcohol related wise. So, and to be personally honest, like if there's like a special occasion or something like that, then like, if it's like family or like a wedding or some kind of special event or something like that, then I'll have like a few drinks and stuff like that, but like nothing like crazy. But for me, like alcohol's not like a big thing at all really. Like I'm not really tempted by it, but I know obviously like it is a big part, like especially the social scene for many people's lives. Like I know it was a big social thing when I worked like corporate, like happy hours. Like I know that's a very popular thing, and so I can imagine like it can be kind of tough, like some kind of peer pressure, right? Especially like if you're in college, like that's super like, obviously enjoy your time, whatever you want, while you're like, in college, and like obviously if you're like celebrating things, like I totally think that's okay, but obviously just keep that in moderation. And personally, like I've never found that I could function at a very high rates if I did drink, and after I do drink, like I don't feel like I can function like the next day. I'm speaking like obviously like in the moment it's like you're just having a good time, right? But like the very next day, like I always don't feel the best. Like I know I don't feel the best. So yeah, alcohol's not really a big temptation for me, but if it is, like obviously just keep it in moderation, I would say. And honestly, like if you can try and like just cut that down to like a minimum, or even like nothing at all, like I think that would honestly be I mean, and even if it is something you do every single day, then maybe like cutting it down to like, maybe if you're doing it every single night, maybe cutting it down to like, 6 days a week, or then 5 days a week, and then maybe it eventually becomes like an every other day kind of thing, and then like you like incrementally, if this is something that you want to be better at, and like personally, like I would recommend like cutting down your alcohol intake as much as possible, assuming that we're not celebrating something like every single night, right? Or doing something socially every single night, like maybe once a week, like that's cool. But yeah, like everything in moderation is all right, I guess, but like specifically alcohol, like I don't think that really there's much benefit to that. So yeah. And then also avoiding temptation from snacking. I would say for this one, for me, like tracking macros has always been big for me, like tracking my macronutrients, basically my protein, fats, and carbohydrates has always been big. And I don't really restrict any specific foods. Like I allow myself to eat any and all kinds of foods. Like, I could eat like candy, like chocolate every single day if I really wanted to, but like I don't obviously do that, but I like give myself that wiggle room to make sure, like I know that if I hit my macros at the end of the day, like a gram of fat from a chocolate bar is going to be, I personally use MyFitnessPal. Like I also have used an app called Lose It before. So MyFitnessPal is really good. Lose It's really good. I know there's like some other ones like Eat This Much is really good. I used to use that for my clients. back in the day. And yeah, that's the app that I personally use, and I've been using MyFitnessPal for like 5 years, so like I highly recommend that. And yeah, yeah, I would just say like maybe just try tracking macros, and if you want to like start that and you haven't done that, you know, there's a bunch of like macro calculators out there like online that I would recommend. And yeah, you could just like find one of those and just type in find your macros, and then maybe just try doing that. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. And yeah, we are rocking through these. I wanted to see if there's any comments I want to respond to super quick. And yeah, overall, I'm trying to keep this at fish is good. Like fish is really high in protein and super low in fat and carbs for the most part. Salmon's like a little higher in fat. But any apps that I recommend other than MyFitnessPal, I mentioned before that I would recommend, like, there's an app called Lose It, and then there's another app called Eat This Much. So those two are really good. MyFitnessPal is probably the top one. Yeah, those are probably like the three that I would probably highly recommend. So yeah, cool, awesome. So yeah, so let's keep rocking through these, and yeah, let's see what we can get into. So third question, maybe this will be a little bit more interesting. So this one is relating to libido. So we got habits checked off, we got alcohol checked off, now we're helping into libido. So on deck, we got confidence, glutes, and pickup lines. And then just some miscellaneous things after that, like 10 or 11, that we're going to rock through. So this one is going to be question number 3. So tips for boosting libido. So this is an interesting one. So ultimately, I would say I don't know if this is like a man or woman, like obviously because it's anonymous, but yeah. Yeah. So tips for boosting libido. First and foremost, I would say, just off of like personal experience, eat in a caloric surplus. Like if you're eating in a caloric deficit, probably libido is going to go down. Like for me personally, I guess to define what libido is, this is not scientific. Like I might get this wrong, like scientifically wise, but libido is your desire for like physical intimacy, like sex with your partner, or I guess with anyone, but hopefully it's like your partner. But that's what libido is, to define that up front. So how to boost that and how that like dips, right? And I'm probably gonna like not get this scientifically right, like I mentioned, but typically your libido is gonna go down the lower in body fat percentage that you have on your body. So basically, like for me, like if I were to like try and be cutting weight, like when I was trying to prep for my physique show last summer, like dude, my libido like went through the freaking ground, like into like the core of the earth probably. So yeah, and that's because like my body fat percentage was dipping, like it was consistently dipping basically like into single digits essentially. So but then whenever like I was coming out of my my caloric deficit, like I was eating more, you know, above my maintenance calories, putting on body fat percentage, my libido started to rise again, right? So first and foremost, like obviously there's going to be like a healthy range to like be as far as body fat percentage goes, but my first recommendation if you want to like boost your libido would be to eat in something called a caloric surplus, where that means we're eating more calories than we are burning throughout the day. So that's going to be my first tip. The second tip would probably be like I would probably say like keep your fat intake a little bit higher, like proportionally wise. That's going to be my second tip. So like typically fat's going to regulate your hormones a little bit better. So typically like if we're in a fat loss phase or diet, we don't want to dip too far like low on our fat calories, like our fat grams, like our calories coming from fat, because typically we run into some troubles when it comes to our hormone regulation, specifically within women. Yeah, and depending on like their time of the month and everything like that. So and then whenever we kind of get fat back to like typically I don't really like to mess with fat too much whenever I'm like transitioning from like a cutting phase to a bulking phase. But typically if I'm transitioning back into a bulking phase, eating in a caloric surplus, putting body fat percentage on, libido's going up. Typically, like I like to kind of increase my fat grams because it's going to regulate your hormones a little bit better. It's going to give you a better foundation for. It's like sort of science based. It's majority science, like majority. I don't know how directly correlating it is. When it comes to science-based, like I said, like I don't have any studies to cite. It's just like my research knowledge, like off the top of my head, basically. So that's basically like my, I guess, like justification for it all. But yeah. So eating in a caloric surplus, making sure like our grams coming from fat is within a healthy range. Like we don't want to keep that like too low. Like we want to get like healthy fats into our diet. We want to be able to regulate our hormones better. And then, yeah, I guess there's like a third thing, like supplementation wise goes. There's certain like supplements. Like I used to work at a GNC store in college. There's specific supplements you can take if you wanted to like increase your libido specifically. I personally never took them. I had sold plenty of them, a lot of them, several of them, not like it's that crazy amount, but like I sold them, right? And yeah, so third thing, like I wouldn't necessarily like, this would be like the very last thing if you wanted to try doing this. There's things like horny goat weed, there's other there's other supplementation things that could help you like help with like increasing testosterone and other things. Like that's in the male side. Not too well versed on the female side, but yeah, that's those are my 3 tips when it comes to boosting libido. Is increase, eating in a caloric surplus, increasing your grams coming from fat and your calories coming from fat to make sure that we're regulating our hormones better, to ensure that like, dopamine's well, the dopaminergic release system and all that. I don't know really that too much about that, but I'm listening to Andy Huberman's podcast. I'm learning a lot. So making sure that's regulated and restored. And then the third thing would be supplementation wise. Usually that's like cherry on top, but like, it's usually the last thing you need if you got like the first 2 things like in order, right? So yeah, that's my insight for boosting libido if you need help with that. So yeah. All right, so we got habits checked off, we got alcohol checked off, we got libido checked off. Next 3 are confidence. It's gonna be like, yeah, habits, alcohol, libido. Next one we got is confidence. And then we have glutes and pickup lines, and then like miscellaneous ones after that. So, all right, so the 4th question we have is going to be how to build more confidence and to find myself, was this next anonymous question from someone. So, how do we build more confidence and how do we find ourselves? So, yeah, I would say this. I started listening to a podcast probably 2 years ago, before I moved. It's called Real AF by Andy Frisella. He's a super successful business owner that he owns a supplement company called First Form. I listen to his podcast religiously, like every single day. And he just has a lot of really good like business advice, life advice, and I just really respect like the man that he is and the advice that like he offers. He just gives out for free, right? So I started listening to his podcast about 2 years ago, and something that he said like really stuck with me, because I would say like at that time it's like probably 23 years old when I started listening to his stuff 2 years ago. And he like, I wasn't, like who the heck knows like what. I used to think that like confidence, that you were born, it was sort of this like this trait, like this inherent quality about people, that they were just like inherently like confident, right? Like you look at someone and they're like that dude just looks super confident, or that girl just looks like a boss ass bitch, right? Like I don't know, she just like fierce, right? Or just like guys are just like alpha males that are just like super confident, right? And like I never like thought that I was like that, right? I would like ride these waves of like insecurity, confidence, right? Depending on like external circumstances, right? But I started listening to Andy's podcast, Real AF, and he really like changed my entire mindset relating to that. And, he kind of like was talking about confidence is sort of this skill set instead of like thinking of it as this inherent quality or trait that you're just born with, right? So confidence is more so like this perishable skill, right? That we can like, that we feel more of or we feel a little bit less of, right? So that's how I kind of view confidence nowadays, right? And as far as like any advice on how to build that goes, I would say it's really just like it's having something to show forth, like having something to be confident about, right? It's like doing things that are like undeniable proof that you can look to and say like, I did that, I achieved that. Like it was this really hard goal or task that I set for myself, for this time frame, and I worked my ass off to do it, and I completed it. And having some like undeniable proof of hard work, I would say, is something that's something that built my confidence, I would say. Like last year, like I did a hell of a lot of things that like I was like damn proud of that I did, and like that's why like I have like undeniable proof, like for me in my heart, in my mind, that I like can look back on and say, like regardless of whatever the external circumstance or situation is, I can look back on that and say like, damn, these are reasons that like I don't really feel like I need to. I think that's just something that you kind of embody by having this undeniable proof like of work that you've completed, like of very hard things you've done, whether that's like physical, whether that's like emotional things you've gone through and overcame, whether that's mentally like within yourself that you've overcome, like looking back and being and seeing that you were able to like overcome those things, you're able to do those things, you're able to like get like a promotion or something with work or do well in school. Like those are things you can look back on and be like, here's my resume, here's my life resume, and this is why I am a badass. Like this is why I'm confident. Like this is why I am secure in myself, and I know what I bring to the table, and I know who I am as a person, and this is why I'm confident. So yeah, that would be my advice like on that question, would like on how to build more confidence, is just like maybe go out and like make your life a little bit harder and do something that you don't like, have it like, think of a goal that you want to achieve that is like, for whatever reason, go out and achieve it. Like go out and do it, right? Like whether that's competing in your first physique competition, like, go to the gym, work hard, lose some, like get your diet on point, compete, regardless of how well you do, like you step on that stage and like bring the best body that you've ever, brought to you like in your life. Like that's something to be damn proud of and to be confident, like to source confidence from it as well. Say if you want to go out and like compete in a powerlifting competition, like I'm going to be doing in about 3 months, and you go out there and like you're kind of nervous, but you go out, like you do the competition. It's something you've always wanted to be doing, you've always wanted to do, and you go out there and you prep accordingly, and you go out there and like hit brand new 1-rep maxes that you've never hit before. Like that's something to source confidence from. If you want to run a marathon or something like that, and you go out there and you've never done something like this before, and you're super scared from it, like you don't think you can do it, and then you go out come race day, you prep for it for 3 months, you go out on race day and run the damn race, and you finish the race. Like literally just finishing the race is something to source confidence from, right? So I think that's something that is super, it's a very tangible way to, I guess, like incorporate that like into your life, right? To be able to say like, I have this undeniable proof that I did all of these very hard things in my life, and that's why I'm confident. That's why I embody this confidence, and no one can take that away. And like no one can take that away from you, which is, I think, probably the most beautiful thing about that, right? So, like ever for like the history of time, right? Going forward, right? Because like you did that, so and you're a badass. So yeah. So yeah, that knocks off confidence. We got habits, alcohol, libido, confidence. Now we're on question 5. Last 2 questions for these like highlight ones, and then just some miscellaneous ones to wrap things up. Just like I'll just do like what do you call it? Like lightning round or something like that, like super quick, right? So this question is going to be, I answer this like every single time, but who the hell cares? How do I grow my glutes? So we got a booty question, we got a dump truck question, we got a glutes question that I'm going to help you out with as best I can, make it super simple, put it in layman's terms. How to grow the peach right here, right now. So, yeah. All right, so how do we grow the booty? How do we grow the glutes? So I would say, personally, as a man, I never like desired to have like well-developed glutes or anything like that. Like I would do leg day like twice a week and stuff. I never really like set out to like isolate my glutes. Like I'd still do squats, like I'd still do stiff like deadlifts, like Romanian deadlifts, or like reverse, things like that, but reverse deadlifts. I never like specifically targeted my glutes before, I'd say within like the last year or so. And dude, gains just went like through the damn roof. Let me tell you that. Like one specific exercise that I never really did were glute kickbacks. I never did those because they looked super feminine, and I didn't want to, I was super insecure, like wasn't confident like in the gym. With how people like saw me, like I was always concerned, like, oh, do they know what I'm doing? Like, does this person think that I don't know what I'm doing? Because I really don't know what I'm doing. But like, yeah. So I was like super concerned with that. Now I don't give a damn. I'm like doing what I want to do, and I want to grow my glutes. I want to have glute gains. I want to build a booty, right? So yeah, this is basically how I did it. Basically, I started doing like direct glute work, like first thing in my leg day workouts, aside from doing like my main compounds. Basically, like I do my squats on my first leg day, I do my deadlifts on the next leg day. Very next exercise on both days, I would do barbell hip thrusts or like plate loaded hip thrusts, right? And I did like 3 sets of like heavy days, like 8 to 10 reps 1 week. Then I do 10 to 12 reps. Then I do 12 to 15 reps, reset. Sometimes I take a deload week. Most weeks I wouldn't. I just kind of push through until like I just like couldn't recover well enough, right? But doing squats, please do squats. Please do squats. Hip thrusts, please do hip thrusts. Glute kickbacks, please do glute kickbacks, whether it's on like a cable. I would recommend a cable glute kickbacks. You can use a band. I personally have never used a band in my entire life, but I would recommend squats, like some kind of hip thrusts, like that's literally directly targeting your gluteus, like maximus and medius, essentially, like your entire glutes. And some kind of cable glute kickbacks in the rep range of like 10 to 15s. So yeah, that's personally what I did, and glute gains like went through the damn roof. So that's my advice on that, how to grow glutes. You could talk to like any kind of other person about it. Like they may give you like similar advice, maybe something else. Like again, I'm like pretty new into this. I'm pretty novice into this realm, given I've only started training glutes in like the past a year or so. So yeah, so yep, that's my insight advice on how to grow your glutes. And last but not least, we have question number 6. We knocked off habits, we knocked off alcohol, we knocked off libido, we knocked off confidence, we knocked off glutes, and last on our highlights right now is pickup lines. The one you all have been waiting for, pickup lines. We saved this for last because we're trying to be strategic with this. Keep you guys to stay with me on your Friday. So yeah. All right, question on pickup lines is this, right? So whoever asked this, I love this question. It is, I think this is one of your random ones on the NGL, like the NGL app, but this is what it is because I saw this a couple times. Is the worst pickup line you have ever heard. Worst pickup line that I have ever heard. So, personally, I'm just going to say the worst pickup line that I have personally used because, like, I don't know, I just don't want to, I'm not going to answer, like, it directly, like, as far as, like, that I've ever heard. Because I'll just do a little self-effacing side of it and give worst pickup line that I have ever used. So I personally don't dude, like I wouldn't, like, in person I wouldn't use like a pickup line, to be honest with you, dude. Like, I would not use a pickup line. I guess like anything would be a pickup line to like talk to the person like for the first time, maybe, sure. But I'd say like the worst pickup line that I've ever used would probably be back in college, right? When I was on like the dating apps and whatnot. I remember doing this, like, I guess it's like a pickup line. Yeah, like it's like the first thing to start your conversation, right? With like someone you match with, right? So this is what I sent, right, to this one person. This one girl was so I made a Spotify playlist, right? Or just like a playlist. This is on Spotify specifically. And I don't even know who this was, but I remember I did this. And it was something like, I wanted to like, obviously I didn't want to like message them on the dating app. It was like probably Tinder or like Bumble or something like that. It's probably Tinder. But that was back in the college days. We don't do that anymore. Like, we're not on dating apps. Like, I'm on Hinge, but I don't really use it. I'm on there though. So I sent her this playlist that was like, I was trying to get her number so I didn't have to message her on the dating app platform, because like, who wants to do that? Like, I'm trying to get off that immediately as fast as I can, right? So I was trying to get her number to like text outside of that. And how I went about that was, I was trying to be clever, right? So I made a Spotify playlist that was like, hey, like I made this this place so stupid, but I made like this playlist for you, right? Go check it out and tell me if you like it. And the playlist, the titles of like the songs in order on the playlist, I'm gonna F it up, but like it was something along the lines of, like, each song was like a single word or something like that, or like a phrase within their sentence or something. And it was like, I don't know, I was asking for her number like in the playlist, right? I'm gonna like F it up, so I don't know if I would say it. It was something like, hey, can I can I please get your number or something like that, and like let's text off of this area, this place right now, or something like that. Like, that was the order of the songs. I said like, you have to listen to it in this order, because it's like, you have to listen to it in that order. And the best part was like, is I don't think they actually realized. They're like, yeah, it was a pretty damn good playlist. And I'm like, what? I was like, it's like, go back and check out like the titles of it real quick. And they were like, oh, okay. So yeah. And we got the number, and somehow that worked, but I don't know if that's like, I don't know if I would recommend that, but I don't necessarily do that anymore. I don't do that. I'll tell you right now, I don't do that anymore. But if you're in your college days and you're having fun and you're single, why, go for it. So yeah, that knocks off the highlights of this: habits, alcohol, libido, confidence, glutes, pickup lines. And now we just got a lightning round. I'm gonna rock through this the next 10 minutes. So I try and keep these at 45 minutes so I don't bore you for this whole time. But yeah. All right, so last questions that I'll answer super quick are going to be on skincare, favorite meals, macro-friendly, favorite books, bulking, mentorship, number one song on Spotify, dating related, and meditation and stuff on Netflix too. So yeah, so lightning round, I'm going to try and answer these like super quick, as fast as I can. So you guys can like go have a good Friday night, and I won't keep you like super long, but yeah. All right. So, question number 7 is, what is your skincare routine? So I've answered this a few times before, but I figured like, why not just include it in here? Again, is, pretty much every single morning we get out of the shower. I do, moisturizer. Yeah, we'll do a moisturizer. And I'll like wash it, like I'll put it on my face, and then I'll like wash it off, right? And then I'll put I'll do a cleanser, put on my face, wash it off with water, and then I'll put Then I'll put the moisturizer on, and then I'm like good to go. And then at night, every single night, every single night, I just use a serum, and I like just like sort of, I don't use like a whole lot of it. I just use like a couple drops of it. I'll just like rub it on my face. So that's really all that I do is just like a cleanser and a moisturizer every single morning and a serum at night, like every single day. That's all that I do. So pretty sure you can get like any kind of cleanser. I'm sure it would be fine, like as long as it doesn't give you acne or pimples or zits or something like that. I'm sure like you'll be all right. So yeah, that was my skincare routine. Favorite meals that are macro friendly. Right now, we are rocking my typically like daily on the daily. Like this is kind of how my like diet is right now. Is I'll have my protein, like my mass gainer protein shake. Like I have a protein shake after I work out. I will have 2 Lenny and Larry's cookies, probably like an hour or so after that. I'll have another 2. I have like 4 Lenny and Larry's cookies every single day. But Lenny and Larry's cookies are super good macro-friendly snacks, I will say. They're kind of like, they're delicious, but they're super filling. So they hold me over. Egg whites are super macro-friendly. Like they're not necessarily like filling, but they help you get protein in, right? Like liquid egg whites is what I personally buy. I also like to use, I'll use like 90-minute rice packets, just like super quick, pop in the oven and just like eat them like that, like the whole pack pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much like how my diet looks basically, essentially. So it's like Lenny and Larry's cookies, egg whites, rice. That's practically it, day to day, right? Oh yeah, Lenny and Larry's cookies are also vegan. I'm glad you mentioned that. They're vegan, gluten-free, like all those. So those are really good. Protein bars are good. Obviously grilled chicken's good. Kind of take a long time to like meal prep. If you want to do like fast food, I recommend like Chipotle bowls. Like I could do a whole thing on Chipotle bowls because I could eat that like every single day. I used to do that. I literally used to get that every single day after the gym for like a late breakfast / lunch. Like I'd be first in line when they open at 10 a.m. next to my apartment. So yeah, I am not vegan now. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Like Greek yogurt's really macro friendly. Egg whites are hella macro friendly. I don't know what else. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So next question is, what is your favorite book? So I got 5. I give my top 5 books right here. Super quick. I would say 5 favorite books right now are Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, and 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene are all badass books. And yeah, I'll include it in the caption here, like if you're checking this on the replay. But those are my 5: Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Power Now, Alchemist, 12 Rules for Life, and 48 Laws of Power. Right now, I'm reading The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, and I'm loving that. So I don't know if that's like top 5, but it's very like fascinating to see. Like, I sort of view like relationships, right? I kind of view like dating as like the ultimate game, if you will, right? So it's cool to like read this book, like Art of Seduction, and see like how this is played, right, by some people and like what types of people they are. It's very fascinating. So like if you want to check that out, it's called The Art of Seduction. That's what I'm reading right now by Robert Greene. And one of his books that he's most famous for is 48 Laws of Power. Like I just finished that last. Damn good book. He's got another book called Mastery. That's probably gonna be my next one after this Art of Seduction right now. But I heard Mastery is really good too. But right now we're reading Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, and it's hella good so far. So yep. All right. I know I said these be like super quick, so we'll try and get through these kind of faster. So next question is, would you ever bulk up? This is question 10. Would you ever bulk up and get big and beefy? Well, I'm so glad you asked this because that's what we're doing right now. We are bulkier. We are bigger. We are beefier than we've probably ever been in my whole life. Like, I think my weekly average weigh-in this week was like 205.1, like 205.1 is like the heaviest like weekly average weigh-in that I've ever been. Powerlifting meet, I'm competing at 100 kg at my weight class. And so 100 kg is about like 220 pounds, 220-ish, 220 pounds. So pretty much I could get all the way up to 220. I could literally put on like 15 more pounds, and I wouldn't do that because like, I'm just not going to do that, but maybe I'll get up to like 210. But that's what we're doing right now is we are getting big, we are getting beefy, and we're trying to hit some new PRs like we've been doing in the gym if you watch my stories. And we're trying to hit some all-time PRs at this powerlifting meet in 3 months, about 3 months in LA. So, yeah, first powerlifting meet of my entire life. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. And I'm going to bring you guys along with me so you can check it out too. So, yeah. All right, next question. Would you ever consider being a mentor for an up-and-coming personal trainer? Cool. Hopefully that reconnected. But, yeah, this next question was just if you would ever consider being a mentor for an up-and-coming personal trainer. Of course, I would absolutely do that. So whoever asked that, like, feel free to DM me if you're catching this on the replay or if you're seeing this right now. Just DM me. And I'd love to help you out whichever way I can. So, yeah, of course. Next one, what is your number one song on Spotify right now? Number one song on Spotify right now is a country song because we're getting back into our country era, at least for now, for a little bit. It's called Alone Tonight by Chris Young. Alone Tonight by Chris Young is... Oh, I guess I read that as last song on Spotify, but that's sort of like my number one song on Spotify right now. Yeah, it's like my most recent one. Like, it's what I'm playing all the time. Alone Tonight by Chris Young. Yeah. Also, song that I'm listening to right now before I just like get hyped up in the gym to hit new PRs. Like, I just hit 275 for 3 on bench. And I've been listening to I'm a Boss by Rick Ross and Meek Mill. And that is like literally having me hit like some gnarly freaking PRs lately. So, Alone Tonight by Chris Young, I'm a Boss by Rick Ross and Meek Mill. Very similar songs, if I do say so myself. So, yeah. Next question is, would you date someone like you? Absolutely. Probably would prefer it, to be completely honest. Not like identical to me, but like female version, just like me. Honestly, you would probably prefer it. That'd be cool. Next question is, how can I create my own training plan? What muscles should I train together? How many days, etc.? Loaded question here, but just to give you like a short answer to this would be, personally, like I would probably start out with like, how many days a week do you think you can and have to work out? Which muscles do you want to prioritize, like on your body? Do you want it to be proportionate, or like do you want to bring up your legs a little bit more? Do you want to bring up your glutes a little bit more, like your upper body a little bit more? Like which part of those bodies? Put those earlier on in the week where you're going to be most rested and recovered, so you can properly make the most gains and bring those up a little bit. Yeah. And like location wise, like this is what I do like literally on a weekly basis. So that would just be my super quick one-off advice on that. And then there's like other things you can get into, like volume, intensity, load, progression management, all that, like that kind of stuff. But that's like later down the line, but just super quick one-off advice would just be that. Yeah. Next question, do you meditate? Abso-freaking-lutely, every single day we do this. I usually listen to a meditation by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He wrote Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He also wrote You Are the Placebo. He also wrote Becoming Supernatural. Those books are bomb AF. Check those out. That changed my life, reading those last year. And he's got some really freaking fire guided meditations. And his work is just like incredible. I'm a firm believer in it, but yes, absolutely meditate every single day. When I stretch and foam roll, so I sort of habit stack those, if you will. Yeah, so it's like just treating myself properly, healing properly from my workouts, getting my mind right. That helps me a ton. So if you want the guided meditation that I listen to, you can check the highlight in, I think it's still there in my on my page. It's called Anxiety. You can check that out. So that's just right in there. So that was that question. We do meditate. I would highly suggest that, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Just like knock something out. Like I think it like really sets your mind right in there. So yeah. Next question is any Netflix recommendations? Of course, we got some Netflix recommendations. We got the ones that I've lately been watching. We've been lately watching is we just finished You season 4. They just came out with some new episodes. You's a bomb show on Netflix. Let me think. Any other ones? Any other ones on Netflix that I'm a big fan of? Love is Blind, hella good show. You, Love is Blind. What's it called? Firefly Lane's really good. Movie-wise, I just watched The Hunger Games for the first time. That's on Netflix. Yeah, I just watched The Hunger Games on Netflix, which was really good. I love that. I don't know what else is on Netflix. Perfect Match was good. We just watched that. It's kind of like getting into like dating shows now, but I have not seen Sex is Life or Sex Life. I haven't watched that. I heard that's really good though. What other good? There's a lot of other good shows I feel like on there. I don't know. I can't really think of any, but yeah. Yep, that's my Netflix recommendations. And last one, and I'll let you guys go because I think we went over 45 minutes. I think we're at like 51 right now. Is an existential one that I'll leave you guys with. So, meaning of life is the last question, and I'll cut you guys off. And I'll catch you probably on my stories or something or on the live next week. So, what is the meaning of life? So, not to get like too super weird on this or crazy, but I was listening to a Jordan Peterson's podcast like a few months ago or something. He had a guest on. His name was Jeff Sandifer, I think his name was. Like I'd never heard of him, but super intelligent, like articulate man. And I don't know, like it wasn't like answering a question on this, but he mentioned something that was like I thought was a good answer to this. That I like wrote down in my reminders. Like I would note, like I have a note on my notes app that's just like reminders if I'm listening to like a podcast or something. I just want to like write down something super quick. And he said this. He said finding something to do that matters in your life while serving someone else. And I heard that, I wrote that down, and I was like, damn, that is so true. Like I think that's a good answer to that question. Is that's what provides me meaning, that's what provides me fulfillment, like is finding something to do that you enjoy, that matters to you, while serving someone else in the process. And I think that's probably the most meaningful thing that you can do. So that's all I got for this live, IG live number 7. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you could hear me okay with these headphones for the first time. And yeah, have a lovely Friday night. Have a safe Friday night. Have a lovely weekend. Happy St. Paddy's Day again. And yeah, thank you as always for the love and support, and I will see you soon. Peace.